Hey everybody, Matthew and Steve here from MiniWarGaming.com, and we're here for the Tyranid Codex review.
It's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah. I know we don't do reviews as much because we're not exactly the de facto tournament channel to go to find out what's perfect. And we still aren't. I'm not going to tell you how to build the perfect min-max army for your tournaments because honestly by next week that'll probably change.
Yep.
And then the week after that it'll change again, and a month later it'll change again, and the week after that and the day after that. It changes so rapidly, probably too rapidly, I'm going to put that out there, that it doesn't really matter. So instead, we're going to just focus on what the crap is in this book, which I know has already been revealed mostly, but like with experience of actually having played it.
Yes, well, that and I think everybody really wants to know the entire layout of these 10th edition books. This is our first one in 10th edition. How many detachments are we getting? Yeah,
things like that, right? And so all I have to say first off is, so far I've played 2 games with this new book.
You played against it at all?
No.
Okay.
You've played now 2 games with it as well.
I played with and against it, yes.
Yes. And so between the two of us, because you did the Unending Swarm.
I did.
And we've done 3 of the 5 new detachments, so we have a pretty good idea of how these work, and I have to say that I'm loving the way that's going.
Also, I'm certain that we're going to have played them all by the time you see this video.
Yeah. Because tomorrow, not your tomorrow, your today, I will have played another one.
I'll be doing the one that you haven't. What's the last
Synaptic.
one? So I'm doing Synaptic then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I know we're just kind of going all around here, and the first 30 seconds of the video are usually the most important, but we've already blown that. So whatever. This is just going to be a long form video, and it's actually going to be in 2 parts because Steve is not just from MiniWarGaming, but he's also from Mountain Miniature. I always forget the name. What is it now?
It's only ever been Mountain Miniatures.
It's just Mountain Miniatures?
Yeah.
It has only ever been that. Mountain Miniatures. So Steve has his own channel. You probably already know this, but if you don't, Steve actually makes other battle reports that cover the same stuff.
Everything
but also
MiniWarGaming does, yeah.
Yeah, but also a bit more because you do like Warhammer Fantasy a lot.
So do you.
Not as much lately.
Fair.
You do much more Warhammer Fantasy. And Mordheim campaigns,
true,
which are awesome, with awesome terrain and stuff. So you got to go check that out. So what we did, and I'll explain this in a few places. There's actually a ton of Tyranid content out today just with us because we've got a 2-parter. We're going to do the first part here on MiniWarGaming, and the second part is going to be on Steve's channel at the link below. But we've also got 4 battle reports for you today if everything went well. Because we both still have to film one more before the Saturday. So I'm assuming everything went well.
It went well.
Yeah, nothing got scuffed. The editor will add in here, it got scuffed. It got scuffed. And so we got 4 battle reports for you, 2 for free and 2 in the Vault/YouTube membership.
Yep.
And so what you can do is I'll put links in the description to all 4 of them. So we got 1 free on MiniWarGaming. We got 1 free on Mountain Miniatures. And then we both filmed on our own channels a paid one. And we're both allowing each other to post that in our own thing. So in the MiniWarGaming Vault, Steve's extra battle report and my extra battle report are available to Vault members. So that'll be in the link below as well. And if you're not a Vault member, don't worry. You can get a free 7-day trial, watch those battle reports, and then cancel. Because who needs another streaming service, right?
You know what? I'm with you.
There's so many of them.
To watch all the videos, you have to sign up for 2 channels now. You know what? I'm doing fine. Sign up for MiniWarGaming. I'm in there anyway.
No, it actually helps support us. That's actually what allowed us to bring us to this point today. So huge appreciation to our Vault members and YouTube members, and our YouTube members too, because that's another way you can get it. So either way, and on Steve's membership as well, he'll have both our battle report and his battle report. So if you really want to show your love, sign up to both. But But
to be fair, you only need 1 to see all the battle reports today.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And if you don't even want that, you're still getting 2 free ones.
That's fair.
Did we spend enough time advertising our paid stuff? I don't think so. Vault members also get discounts on over 40 different companies if you're a Silver Vault member. You can sign up yearly and save money. It also helps support us, and there's thousands of videos in there. And
if you're a member of my channel, you get access to a Discord where I will not reply to your comments.
We have a Discord as well, and I actually am active in there.
And I still don't have access to it.
That's not my fault.
That is fair. That's true.
It's just a link on our page. It's super easy to sign up.
I keep forgetting.
I'm
not active in my Discord. I'm going to be active in yours.
Yeah, well, I actually like Discord. I have a lot of fun on it. So anyways, I have a specific one in there for 3D printing. I have a specific one in there for Ask Matthew, where you can just ask me
that's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's just they can ask me questions, and I always respond to that one place.
I'm going to steal that idea. So I can put everything in one spot.
Ask Matthew? That's kind of weird.
And then I will copy and paste and forward to yours. This is a fantastic idea.
Yeah. How many minutes are we into this now without really talking about Tyranids?
We're kind of.
So there is a cover, and the cover is beautiful. So let's talk about, this is the first 10th edition codex, so that's kind of a big deal. I hope with all of my soul that they continue to make the codexes exactly like this.
Okay.
Why?
Yes.
Because a couple things. Now, I'm gonna just say one thing, and then we're gonna stop talking about this. Games Workshop is updating things too quickly. I don't mean new codexes. I mean trying to balance things. I understand that they're trying to react to tournament stuff, but just don't. Let the Eldar be overpowered, and let the tournament scene fix that, or not.
I agree.
Not. But I'm going to make a whole other video about that maybe eventually. But my point is, what you normally see in an edition is the codexes change their format drastically throughout the one edition.
Well, we didn't see that 9th.
No, I guess not.
Yeah.
But
I think 9th was the first time.
That's true.
Was 8th the big? I can't remember, but I don't think
changed things.
Okay.
We usually, and I don't just mean that they changed their format. I don't mean like where things are. I mean like they just changed the game too much. Like I loved the Tyranid Codex from 9th edition, but at the same time I didn't, because it introduced an entirely new way of playing the game. The synaptic link mixed with all the different stratagems and stuff, it just felt like I was playing a different game.
It was very, there's a lot of flavor, a lot of Tyranid.
Very flavorful, but they took an already complicated thing and they added more complicated things, which means it's hard to learn.
Well, 9th edition was every codice was just a layer of onions, layer after layer after layer.
Which makes, not balancing, but it makes interaction really hard to fit, because everybody's got their shtick. And I don't just mean like a little thing, like we got a lot of invulns. I mean like, no, they literally have a different way to play the game. And at first I thought I liked that, and I realized by the end that I didn't. Because complexity for the sake of complexity just doesn't work. And so I like how they've simplified things. I really do.
Okay, so as a content producer where we play multiple armies, playing games all the time, in 9th edition, it was, if Matthew said, here's a new book, it just came in today, read it and play a game, not going to happen. I feel
Age of Sigmar, yes. I can learn an Age of Sigmar army in 20 minutes.
Okay, so the last one that came out was the Age of Sigmar. And
you don't have to read it all, though. You just have to pick your city and just follow the rules there.
I feel like I personally feel like that book is starting to get a little more like 9th edition-y. That being, like,
I haven't read that one, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So the Seraphim book, I picked up pretty fast. Like, I don't know what I did wrong. But yeah, so I think it is adding complex, but this is like taking it away.
Yes, I think Age of Sigmar is somewhere in between. So 9th edition is like complexity's here, Age of Sigmar was here, and now 10th is going to here. But it's not. But
like that's a negative thing.
No,
so I feel like I can grab any 10th edition pack of index cards, read your page of rules and your page of stratagems, and go ahead and play the game.
Yes.
And I was worried when this came out that it'd be daunting, and it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
So there's still lots to learn. Like the 9th edition codexes, you'd have 30 stratagems. Here, there's literally 30 new stratagems. But they're divided up into 6 stratagems per detachment, which means you only ever have to remember those 6.
I think we pointed out right now, there are 6 detachments in this book. If that has not been released in the Warhammer community.
Yeah, so there's the original invasion, and then 5 more. Yeah, that's the same, which I kind of like. It shows that they're just like, the index is just a codex light, rather than like a Band-Aid until the codex comes out. Now, I know as time goes on, the codexes are going to be much different than the indexes, because we're already seeing changes that they're making in the balance data slates, which means the more of those that you have, the more changes you have from the index cards. I still think, I'm going to leave that for another video. I said I wasn't going to keep talking about it, so I'm not going to keep talking about it. Let's talk about the fun stuff. So here's what I love. So let's get to the detachments. I love the fact that we're no longer working with high fleets, and that we're working with detachments instead.
Right. That was Games Workshop put articles about this, but that was a humongously popular thing for me. No more Behemoth, Kraken. It's all, you just paint whatever you want to paint, and then you have different fleets to play with.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even want them to add it back in just as like one extra tiny little thing.
Never do that again.
Because if, like for example, I'm like, well, I'm playing a shooting army, so I guess I'm going to play Kronos. And I'm going to play a close combat army, so I got to do Behemoth or Kraken. and I want to lose a game, so I'm going to do Gorgon. Like that kind of stuff, right? It was just like each Hive fleet was too specific, which ironically is exactly how the detachments work, but the detachments are more about different stages of the invasion, of a Tyranid invasion. And I hope that they do that kind of thing for pretty much everybody else, because essentially every faction has multiple themes of when they play. Like Necrons could be all canoptic stuff or destroyer stuff. It could be all about warriors, or it could be about a mixed force.
After seeing one book, we've already had tons of conversations in this building about like what are the 5 orc factions, like what's not factions, detachments going to look like. It's going to be a mech
hard.
one.
It's not hard.
Yeah, like the idea of just it's awesome. It's a very positive way to go. I will do a bit of a prediction thing. I know Matthew want to talk about the tournament stuff, but this is the way it's always going to be going forward, especially with the internet being what it is. We're going to see, in the past we saw like one particular sub-faction always be the one dominant and the meta. Like
Until it would get nerfed, and then the next one would be the dominant one, right?
No, to be fair, usually the sub-faction kind of stayed the sub-faction. Nurse and whatever. Now, my prediction with this, and people agree, people disagree, but what I see here is we're going to see somebody call which one of these 5 the best, and we're going to see it dominate the tournament meta or the meta for a while, but then somebody will find out a way of playing the next one differently. I don't think we'll have, if nothing changes, I don't think we're going to have one of these sub-factions, one of these, detachments stay the top at all times. I think they all play drastically enough that you can find things to do. I think you actually are going to see multiple sub-factions competitively. Not that you're here for competitive stuff.
Well, it also just depends on any changes to the data slates, too. Like, if all of a sudden you make Carnifexes cheap, well, then Crusher Stampede is going to become more popular because Crusher Stampede buffs monsters. And so I think it'll just come down to all of that being balanced out as well.
I think it's a given. We should point out that for like the data sheets, what do they call this one? Data slates, right? The data slates in this book are largely unchanged. I think completely unchanged.
Not completely unchanged, but like 95% unchanged.
What can you think of as a difference?
Well, they fixed them for one thing.
Okay, sorry. After the update of like the erratas and stuff like that.
Yeah, I seem to remember there was one thing, and I can't remember now. I remember flipping through it. And
okay, so the vast majority is
there's like 1 or 2 tiny changes to a couple things, but
you can download these data cards right now on Games Workshop's website with the Warhammer community.
Yeah, they should all be available for free.
Is.
I seem to remember finding 1 or 2, but that's how insignificant it was. I've already forgotten what it was. So yeah, so it's like, don't change the rules of the individual units, change their points values if there's a balance issue, and then give us new detachments. I've already thought of more detachments that I want to create myself following the same thing. So I think we should get into the detachments and start talking about them. Let's give a quick overview of what they are, and then we'll go more deep into each of them. And basically, if you tell me a unit from the army, I can tell you which detachments, plural, it'll work well in. And the nice thing is they kept the invasion fleet, which is, of course, your catch-all.
Yep.
You could build any list, and you played invasion, and it's going to work. Because the idea of being able to, before you start the game, look at your opponent, be like, you know what? I want everybody to have sustained hits against infantry and swarms. Or I want everybody to have lethal hits against monsters and vehicles. And I never care about the third one, about everybody getting precision hits on critical hits against characters. Like, no, the first 2. So it's like, are you tank heavy or monster heavy? Or are you infantry heavy?
It's still going to get played. It's good.
I think it's good. And the stratagems are really good too. The enhancements are pretty good. Like being able to hand somebody a 5-up Feel No Pain, and then 5-up Feel No Pain 4-up once they get hurt. That's you put on a Hive Tyrant, that's pretty strong. So the Invasion Fleet's going to be there.
If you're playing Invasion Fleet, and you're not playing with any of the 3 new War Scrolls, you don't even have to buy this book.
Yeah.
And it's not any worse or better than the rest of them.
Yeah, we've only got 3 new things: the Norn Emissary, Norn Assimilator, and the Neurolictor. That's it. Everything else, even all those new models, they're cool. And then the stuff, of course, from Leviathan, but those are.
But we already have those.
That's not new anymore, right?
That's on the index cards.
Exactly. So yeah, you want to play Invasion Fleet, you're good to go. So the other 5 ones, we got Crusher Stampede, which is monster focused. We've got, as you would imagine, we got Unending Swarm, which is Endless Swarm or Endless Multitude focused. So your Hormagaunts, Gargoyles, and Termagants. Assimilation Swarm. This was a surprise to me, which is Harvester focused.
A whole new thing, but
which is really cool. Yeah. That's your Harrospexes, Ripper Swarms, Psychophages, and Pyrovores.
I see this is the one you dog-eared already.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
I dog-ear my books.
Yep.
These books are meant to be used, and in 6 months they're going to be useless anyways. because there are going to be so many FAQs that the words in them won't even matter. So
Can't argue with you, but you're still wrong.
Vanguard Onslaught, which of course is for all your Vanguard stuff, which is typically your Lictors, Gene Stealers, anything with wings. Or anything that things with wings join.
True, yeah.
As we'll talk about. And lastly, and I'm looking forward to playing this one, I think I can say that for everyone that I haven't played yet, Synaptic Nexus, which is another kind of catch-all one, but obviously like Synapse units and a little bit of Psychic.
So
a little bit of Psychic.
I played with the Endless Swarm.
Unending Swarm.
But that's actually not part of the video, the 4 videos. That's going to be later down the line for MiniWarGaming. So I played that first.
Okay.
That's going to be...
That's fine. We won't give any spoilers, but we can still talk about how it works.
I played against the Vanguard one. What would you have actual experience with?
So the Vanguard one and Crusher Stampede.
The ones you
and by the time this video comes out, not before I made it, I'll be a Assimilation Swarm as well. And then I'm going to play... I want to play all of them, and then I'll start playing more narrative, where I throw in battle scars and stuff, because that's a lot of fun. But that's not what this video is about. So let's just go through them.
Yep.
All right.
I'm going to grab my little phone open here with the same stuff in it.
Yeah.
So we were match shoulder.
Well, of course, and I neglected to say thank you, Games Workshop, of course, for sending us this stuff early. They sent us a ton of models and the books, and they let us get access to that so that we can really prepare for this. So I feel much better prepared than I have in the past when we did reviews, where we get the book like a few days before the Saturday. We barely have time to read through it. I have read through this thing many times, and I'm just loving every aspect of it. So the Crusher Stampede, I'll talk more about that one. Then we'll kind of, because I've played it, you can talk more about the Unending Swarm.
I played that one.
We can both talk about the Vanguard and all the rest. So the Crusher Stampede, of course, is a fan favorite from before. It's all about monsters, except it's nothing like the one before, because the Crusher Stampede before used to give Carnifexes -1 damage.
So, with the exception of the name, is that the only...
That's the only thing that's the same about it.
Okay.
It's about monsters.
It's a whole new detachment, then.
So, okay, I want to point this out, because you might be curious. None of the detachments limit what you can bring, and none of the detachments make anything battle line. I was actually surprised by that, because I thought the Vanguard would make like Gene Stealer's battle line, so you could bring more of them.
Good point. I hadn't noticed that. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, or make like Lictor's battle line, so you could bring 6 of them. I don't think you'd want to bring 6. But
I think, to be fair, myself and maybe many audience was expecting exactly that.
Yeah, I thought they would. I didn't want them to restrict things. I wanted them to open things up. So like the Crusher Stampede, for example, I can't think of any monsters I would care to bring more than 3 of, because like Carnifexes, you can bring them groups of 2. You're not going to want to bring 4 Hive Tyrants. Like you're already... kind of weird.
You have a lot of monsters to choose from in that book.
Yeah, you have so many monsters.
You can go pure shooting monsters, pure melee monsters.
Yeah.
You have monsters. You're already like themed a list, and you go even more themey.
Yeah, so I don't know if anything needs to really open up. The only one was the Vanguard. I thought they would make Gene Stealer's battle line. The rest of them, nothing I can think of really matters. So the Crusher Stampede, cool thing is each attachment just gives you 1 extra rule, 4 enhancements, and 6 stratagems. And the one for the Crusher is Enraged Behemoths. And all it is that when a monster is hurt, they get +1 to hit. And if they are below half strength, they get +1 to wound. I can tell you from my game that was a big deal.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. There was a time when he accidentally scratched one of my monsters with an explosion. And I was so happy, because that monster was down 1 wound and then was able to go, ah!
Well, it's going to prevent you from, like, am I going to heroic interrupt. What's that one called? Counteroffensive. Like, if I can't kill your monster,
you don't want to hurt
I'm not going to try to just do some wounds to him.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get more effective at killing my guys.
Well, and the bigger monsters, when they get down to low enough wounds, they're -1 to hit. And so now all of a sudden they don't get that. It's still +1 to hit. And now they have +1 to wound.
Yeah.
And so they're actually more dangerous the more you hurt them. Like the sweet spot, of course, is when they're below half strength and not at that -1 bracket yet, because then they're +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
You know, I know there's a lot of varying levels of experience. I'm going to point out, because I know this is going to be confusing for some people. What Tyranids are going to keep across the board for all their attachments is the Shadow and the Warp, where they force the battle shock test in your opponent's command phase. You're used to seeing Tyranid players pick a special rule, sustain hits or lethal hits army-wide across the board for their stuff. That's the Invasion Fleet detachment. That's what you're losing when they go to, I don't say losing, that's what it kind of feels like, when you go play the Crusher Stampede.
Oh, yeah.
So you got your Shadow and the Warp, and now that rule.
And Synapse. So you have Synapse and Shadow and the Warp.
Sorry, and Synapse.
That's your army-wide rule. Yeah, so, and then all the enhancements and all of the stratagems only work on monsters. So you're welcome to bring non-monsters, because maybe you just want to throw in that.
Are they all monster only?
They're all monster only. But it might still make sense to have the Neurolictor in there to debuff stuff as everything goes on, right? You know, it doesn't mean you're only going to want monsters, but the game that I played was only monsters, because I love themes, even if it's not. Like, I'm sure people are going to find a way to multi-class for a better... I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, so that's what's on my mind. Like multi-class, where it's like, I'm going to do a Crusher Stampede, but I'm going to bring in these 3 units that still work really well no matter what you're playing.
Well, even points being the thing, assuming Gribblies are always a useful thing, even a monster-focused army.
Probably. I just didn't do it because there is some cool stuff in here. Like, for example, one of the enhancements is +3 objective control on a monster. Also, you have the new Norn Emissary and Assimilator, and those big 300-point-ish monsters. I say ish because they're not actually 300 points, and who knows how many points they're going to be by the time you watch this video because they change it so often. So just check your app, unless you're in Canada. We're hitting all sorts of stuff, right? But anyways, but the thing is, what was I saying? I've already lost my train of thought.
Your Norn Queen Emissary
Oh, yeah,
monster.
the Norn Emissary and the Norn Assimilator. I think they fit really, really well into this because they both have a special role that they're bred for one purpose, and that is at the beginning of the game, you can choose either an enemy model that they'll just re-roll hits and wounds against, or you can choose one objective that if they are in range of it, they become objective control 15 and feel no pain 5+. And so that whole, like, well, your monsters are going to have a hard time holding objectives, well, bring one of them. And they're really good. I played the game, and I can tell you, they did a good job holding the objectives.
I was going to say, we can get to it when we start talking about that War Scroll, but my initial thing was, I'm going to take that reroll to hit and wound thing every time. No. The OC 15.
The reroll hit and wound is too situational. There's an objective right there in the middle. You can deploy it right in front of it. He runs up to it, and he goes, this is my baby. I think
so, yeah.
My baby.
Well, the feel no pain and the huge, like,
Yeah. So
that's but that's going to work well with the Crusher Stampede.
It's going to. He's not a character though. I'm surprised neither of them are characters, so you can't give them enhancements.
Interesting.
Which really bums me out, unless it was a typo, because they feel like they should be characters because they are synapse creatures, but they're not characters. You also have an enhancement that that you can fight on death on a 3+ if you haven't already fought. One of them I'll never use, Null Nodules, is a Feel No Pain 5+ once per battle against one singular psychic attack.
That's no.
Well, it's until the end of the phase, but still. You'd have to be against a very specific army, knowing ahead of time. Monstrous Nemesis, on the other hand, is you get +1 to wound against monsters and vehicles in melee.
That's not bad.
That's pretty cool. In my game, I took the +3 objective control and the 3+ fight on death because I only had 2 monster characters. I had the Hive Tyrant and the Neuro Tyrant. Because the Neuro Tyrant's a monster. And remember, this is an important thing because I always forget this. When a character joins a unit, the unit gains all of its keywords. So a Neuro Tyrant or a Hive Tyrant joining Tyrant Guard, the Tyrant Guard are monsters. They do gain the monster keyword, for better and for worse. If there's anti-monster, it works against them. And they also have access to all the stratagems and stuff. So
interesting.
So as soon as you injure one of those Tyrant Guard, they all have +1 to hit.
Is that going to apply to these stratagems that you wouldn't think to use on Tyrant Guard?
Well, they're only a monster while the guy is attached to it. So you're already.
They're a monster the whole time they're in the game because he's never going to leave them until they're dead.
Well, then unless you have Death Leapers.
True, precision.
Or precision.
You know what? Before the Death Leaper, I hadn't really seen much precision in the game.
Yeah, snipers are typically where you had it before.
Haven't seen
the game we played today that you're going to see today. I had a lot of precision.
Yeah, he did.
No spoilers. So into our stratagems. So this is where it gets interesting. I don't think we're going to go over every stratagem for every one of these because I want to review the book and what it feels like. I don't want to necessarily read everything, even though I'm going to probably talk long enough that I could have. So some interesting ones are you can auto-explode, which is really cool. So the Deadly Demise, that's pretty cool because there's some that are D6.
Yeah, but I mean, just finish offing. How many points do they auto-explode? One, yeah.
As long as they can't fly. So you can't fly a winged flying Hive Tyrant or a winged Tyrant. The winged Hive Tyrant in there and then have it explode. You can't do that one. That's like
because when you get a monster down to numerous times I play a game, a vehicle monster down to like 1 or 2 wounds. I'm gonna go charge just because it's out of the game anyway. Hopefully it explodes. Now if you can control it, you can get a lot of wounds done.
Yeah, and also we get basically the grenade stratagem on the charge.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any grenades with Tyranids, which I'm glad because I don't want to use that stratagem because I think it's
boring. But you spend 2 CP for it.
Is it 2 for the grenade stratagem?
Isn't it Adrenal Surge? No, that's not it.
No, it's the Massive Impact. There's only one command. You're on the wrong one.
Am I on the wrong one already?
You are.
I keep flicking back to the evasion for you.
Yeah. No, they're all 1 command point stratagems. Massive Impact, after you charge, roll 6 dice. 4 pluses are mortal wounds. Oh, my favorite, though. My favorite was Savage Roar. Savage Roar. Reminds me of Age of Sigmar.
Wait, hold on. Okay, I'll let you finish that, but I think you missed a major point about Massive Impact we're going to talk about like why it's really good. But go ahead, finish your Savage Roar.
Why is it really good?
Well, because when you charge something, you charge their screens, hit it with Massive Impact, pile in and play something else.
Sure, but you're only doing that most 6 mortal wounds.
Well, you're screaming with a small thing. I think the fact that you couple this in with you don't have to fight the thing that you charged.
Yes,
You can use it to smash through the screen and then get to pile into the next thing, or even if you kill a couple malls, you can get through, pile into the next thing.
Yeah,
this is helping get around screens, which is a big part of the game these days.
It's true. That's true. So my favorite is Savage Roar, though. It's just a command point when a Tyranid monster is about to fight. When he was selected as a target, he goes roar, and it forces a battle shock test. And regardless of whether they pass it or fail it, they get -1 to hit. And if they fail it, they get -1 to wound. Now you're reeling at this because we have a similar one in the Vanguard, which is the opposite. When you go to attack, you do battle shock and you get +1 to hit and possibly +1 to wound, which worked really well.
Well, so the other modifiers are great, but it's like if I'm going to go fight you, and I'm going to use my a profane zeal stratagem or any close combat stratagem I'm about to do, you're going to pop this off, but my stratagem doesn't take precedence. So I'm going to do my stratagem before I have to do my battle shock test.
It's after an enemy unit has selected its targets.
So I'm going to select my targets when I do my stratagem.
Yeah, sure.
And then as active player, well, this is on your turn, but as active player, I'm going to pick the order. So
yeah,
it's the main problem with the battle shock type stuff.
Yeah, but it's still the -1 to hit, and if you fail, it's -1 to wound.
Right. So that's what it's really about. So I don't know. Might as well just say do a leadership test.
But you also no, because what if no, I guess you don't have to worry about objective control at that point.
Right.
No, if it's your turn, and I battle shock you, then we go to my turn. I might be holding the objective there. That can come up. So
yeah, it's true.
If I do it on my turn,
true.
I think I like that. You're going to see a lot more interaction with battle shock in these armies.
I'm just jumping on the bandwagon of begging on the battle shock system, even though, and I think every game we've played so far with Tyranids, battle shock has been a major factor in every game I've played.
I used to not like it because before I saw the other interactions, I like that they're adding a lot more in, because that's one thing I've noticed is that there's a lot more units that trigger battle shock. There's stratagems that trigger battle shock. And so it's not just about stopping you from holding an objective. It's not just about stopping you from taking stratagems. It's about both situationally.
Yeah.
So, and we saw that in our game today.
Yeah, a lot actually.
So yeah, I'm not going to go through the other ones. They're fun. You can reroll hits. You can get ignore cover. You can desperately escape without desperately escaping. There you go. There's the other 3. My favorite. It's massive impact. Savage roar when you get attacked. He's like, no, -1 to hit, and then do a battle shock. And if you fail, it's -1 to wound. Even if nothing else happens. And that's pretty cool. And there's also monsters, especially like the Psychophage. It likes things that are battle shocked. It gets to wound better against it. There are things like the Neurolictor, who's got a 12-inch aura of if you're battle shocked, everybody who attacks that gets +1 to wound, and they get -1 to hit. Like there's all sorts of things that matter here.
See that coming to play plenty?
Yeah, and it's not just about whether you can use stratagems and whether you can hold objectives, although those are extras on top of that.
The Tyranids doing extra things. For the Unending Swarm is the one that I end up playing for my very first game, which you're going to see actually probably well after all this.
Not well after.
Oh, fair. Okay, but
they're probably like this Monday.
Okay.
Is my guess.
So the very first one, I had the book for minutes before I played the game. I played Unending Swarm because of my Tyranid collection. I have 90 Termagants. So it made sense. I'll go Unending Swarm. I wasn't interested in it until I played it.
And you didn't really have the new models, right?
No.
Yeah, you were just playing with.
I played
old stuff.
right away.
No Leviathan stuff.
No, I had Leviathan starter stuff.
Oh, and you had that painted in yours. That's right. Okay.
And then, but nothing new. No new models from the new round. This round yet. I think it's actually my favorite. So it's obviously going to focus on the Gribbly type things. I don't even remember what my special rule was. Each time enemy unit is selected to shoot, after the unit has finished making its attacks.
I can give it.
Thank you.
Cole's notes. It's if you get shot and you lose a model, you can move D6 inches.
Oh, that's right.
Including into close combat.
So for endless multitude units.
Endless multitude.
That's your little Gribbly thing.
So gargoyles, hormagaunts, termagants.
When you shoot them, they can move D6 inches. It didn't come into a whole lot of play when I was playing the game.
But it does have to move closer to the enemy, so you can't use it to escape.
You can get into close combat with it,
which is a big deal because it's your opponent's turn, which means you get to fight first.
But it's actually word for word, very much like the World Eaters banner thing. So it cool, whatever. There's a stratagem, which is the entire thing, the entire detachment for me. It's called, which one is it called?
Unending Waves.
There it is. It's 2 CP. So when your endless multitude unit gets destroyed, you pay 2 CP and put the exact same unit, excluding characters that were attached to it, if you had any attached to it, into reserves. The threat of that was dictating a lot of the table. In fact, I kind of felt I had a nice conversation with my opponent, which is an awesome dude, by the way. This could be like one of them feel bad things where it's like literally wave after wave of Tyranids coming and you can't kill them. Where I was trying to get into close combat just so he'd force to fight them to finish them off, so more would come on.
Yeah, you're like down to 2 termagants out of 20. You're just like, I got to suicide these in rather than hold an objective so that I can bring 20 back.
Yeah,
because that's 20 more.
And he was doing his absolute best to try to kill multiple units in the same turn, so only one can come back. Wasn't able to do it. It was an extra bit of frustration. This dictated a lot of our game.
So, okay, let's say you're doing endless swarm stuff or endless multitude stuff, and you could just play invasion fleet.
Yes.
And have access to the stratagem to bring D3 plus 3 of them back and 2 units for 1 command point. So why is this one so much better?
Because, okay, so when I'm playing this, I'm probably having a Tervagon anyway, who's going to bring some models back anyway. Having 1 command point, bringing a few Griblies back here and there, they're going to keep shipping away at you, and you're going to spend it every turn. I almost see it as like, oh, it's a tax. I'm spending that every turn. I think I brought back in my game, I don't want to give spoilers, it was weeks ago for me. Was it weeks ago? At least, yeah.
It was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was weeks ago. So I think I brought back 1 unit the whole game because there was so much threat of if you kill them, they're coming over here, coming back on the table over here. There was so much psychological presence of that stratagem, which was the whole thing. Like, he didn't want to kill my Griblies. My Griblies kept pushing up the field. I was able to score, and he's trying to clear them off objectives, but kill enough that he takes the objective, but he's not killing them outright, because I think I had Storm hostile objective, and it was his backfield one, so I can get back there. It's battle round 3, I can get back there. He's trying to make sure they weren't coming back. He actually felt like it was an unending mass, and he couldn't kill them fast enough, because he didn't want to kill them.
Yeah,
unless he can kill 2 units at once.
Yeah, I could see that being. And the fun thing is that you could theme this a lot differently. You could do like a triple Tervagon with lots of Termagants list, or you could do like a Hormagant surging forward list with some Hormagants or Termagants in the background, or you could just do triple Prime with wings with a bunch of Gargoyles and have them move forward, sustain hits, and when they die, the Gargoyles come back, not the Prime. And they just keep swarming because they're fast, and they can actually like.
The most impressive way I can see this already, if you want to have your opponent not have a good time, I think, is 3. It's probably only 3 units of Hormagants, just beelining right at the opponent, and 3 units of 20 Termagants with which weapon is it? The 2-shot 4?
Devour.
60 Termagants with Devours and 3 Tervagons. What are you spending? 2, 4, 6, 12. It's the vast majority of your army.
Roughly a 1,500 point.
It's actually a little bit more than that, I think, but that's the vast majority of your army. But
you don't need 3 Tervagons to achieve that, though. 2 would be plenty. Heck, 1 can work.
Well, no, the reason why 3, in my opinion, is a little different is because it now turns those 3 units of 20 Termagants, they can now deal with anything, giving them lethal.
No, I know, but you can have 1 Tervagon babysit 2 units.
Sure.
Because it's a 6-inch
and that's what
aura.
I did in my game, because I only have 1. But like the freedom just to go everywhere, because I felt like I was everywhere in the game as it is.
Yeah, I think 2 Tervagons, each with a unit of 20 Termagants, because you don't want too many, because then you're wasting their ability to bring back D3 plus 3 guys, because they can only do it once, and they can only do it to a unit that hasn't already had it done, and that's not at full strength, right? So if you're looking at maximizing that kind of stuff, and the cool thing is, there's actually some, like, you're saving your points for the unending waves. There's some really cool stuff in here, like Synaptic Goading. When they do that surge move, you can spend a command point, have them re-roll the d6, and they can go to an objective marker rather than to the closest enemy unit instead. Oh. So imagine shooting a unit, and then they go whoop onto an objective, and you're just like, ah.
So,
and then the Tervagon brings them back.
You worried about that Space Marine squad with their 4 plasma cannons? You have the preservation imperative, 1 command point. You count as being less than 4 models for the purpose of blasts.
So they don't get any bonuses for
because they're not getting D3 plus 4 attacks per guy, thus devastating a squad. Yeah. That's going to turn off, 16 attacks from that 1 squad for 1 command point. So it's about your Griblies and protecting your Griblies with that one. We have the Bounding Advanced stratagem for 1 command point. When you advance, you make it automatic 6, and I believe Hormagants can advance in charge. And I think there was one more. Oh, yes, Storming Masses. I use this a lot in the game. You can use it, what is it? You get sustain hits 1. And then if you have 20, is it more than 15 or more models, you get critical on 5+. Keep in mind, those Termagants near the Tervagon get lethal attacks. So they're getting criticals on 5s. Now they're 2 hits on 5s, one of them automatically wounding. for every 5 to hit.
Every 5 to hit does an automatic wound, plus you get
So
the
these
roll to
Gribblies
wound.
can get work done for you as well.
Yeah, no, I think because lethal already just works across the board. There's nothing that is immune to lethal. They haven't introduced that yet. Well, I'm sure we'll get there. And yeah, it's
And
just,
then you have one more teaming masses, 1 command point, -1 to hit a unit.
yeah. So once again, a protection. So it's not about keeping your endless multitudes alive, except for the one. It's about just bringing them back. And
In fact, I felt like I was trying to kill my guys more than he was.
are the enhancements any good?
You know what? I don't even remember. That's how
Well,
I think.
here's an interesting one. Tyranid model only, +2 move to the bearer's unit.
Now the thing is, there's no characters that can join these.
There's the Shrike.
The Shrike
right?
and the Gargoyles. That's the only one where it matters.
And they're already fast.
Yeah.
So, but once again, the Unending Swarm doesn't have to just be about the Unending Swarm. So imagine you have like, you build a Tervagon with like 40 Termagants. And let's say that's all you brought for Unending Swarm. So they were the ones that are going to do the swarming masses, sustain hits and stuff. That's already tons of firepower. If you manage to kill one, well, 2 command points to bring it back. You don't need 6 endless multitudes to take advantage of these. You need 2. Maybe even just 1, but 2 for sure so that you have some backup. And because 40 Termagants would get work done, and then you can put the rest of the points into, it could be a Hive Tyrant with Tyrant Guard with +2 to move.
Well, I think
Like, think of that for a second as he's like bounds up the field, +2 to move.
I think the way I see this list. I know we're very different the way we're going to play. Is I want the list I just described, and then Tyrannofexes with big guns.
Right. Now, they don't get the upgrades, though. They can't.
No, but I know, but they're the other piece of the puzzle.
Well, you don't need big guns
No.
if you have tons of lethal, though.
Well, I know, but like the big multiple damage was pointing on tanks. I was killing tanks. Don't get me wrong, but I was ripping them down a little bit of time. There's also naturalized camouflage, which is an upgrade I actually purchased for my game. You have is it all or
3.
3 units with endless multitude within 9 inches of my Tervagon who bought the upgrade count as being in cover. Here's
the
problem.
first battle.
For the first battle round, it didn't matter. Because my army's so big, everywhere my whole army was in cover anyway.
Yeah.
Even when I moved, I was in cover. These blobs are so big, so I bought that thinking that's a good idea. Keep my endless multitude, like a little extra armor save for 1 battle round. It didn't matter. I was in cover anyway. Cover's too prolific in the game as it is.
But I still see the other ones, like Piercing Talons. You give it to a model, and that model's unit on a critical wound.
Again, it's only gargoyles.
No, that's not true. It's just a Tyranid model. That could be a Shrike with warriors. That could be a Hive Tyrant with Tyrant Guard.
Oh, sure. I'm thinking I only want endless multitude points.
I know, but and this. I normally would agree with you, but I feel the more I read this and the more I think about it, the less it's about making your entire army endless multitude. Because when your whole army is endless multitude, this stratagem works in endless multitude, but you can only use it once.
Per phase.
Per phase. So if
So
you have
in my shooting phase, in my melee phase?
Yeah. But if you have 3 units of Termagants, only one of them gets to be sustained hits lethal. If you have 3 units of Hormagaunts, only one of them gets sustained.
I don't
hits
want to
and they
argue with Matthew because Matthew's a Tyranid expert.
that's not it. It's more just how
I know.
This is personal preference.
You're going to be a better Tyranid player than me all around. But the way I see it is, if I'm playing endless swarms, the way you're discussing playing it is you're playing a regular Tyranid army. You're giving them reasons not to attack your swarm. I'm going to go shoot those warrior units instead. I want big monsters that you hard toughness, or I want endless multitude. I want nothing toughness 3, 4, or 5. That's not endless multitude on my list.
But there's something about these enhancements that I really enjoy the fact that because all 6 stratagems have the keyword endless multitude.
Yes.
So none of those are going to work anything except Hormagaunts, Termagants, and Gargoyles.
Yes.
But when I look at the 4 enhancements...
not Barbons, the other one. The Neurogons.
Oh, yeah. Who cares about that?
Yeah.
Sorry, Neurogons. Nobody cares about you. I don't know their purpose.
Oh, you know what? To be fair, those all work on those too.
Yeah, but why?
Because
Yeah, but why do we care about giving
I know,
Neurogons
I'm just saying, it's not
+2
just
move
gargoyles.
or critical wounds?
It's not just gargoyles, it's them as well.
Yeah, no, I don't understand Neurogons and their purpose. I like the fact that they tried to come up with a new thing, but I don't know what they're supposed to do. Am I missing something? I know they can bounce
They
synapse,
might
but
be useful in this list actually to bounce the synapse to your gaunts that are like way in your
I
flanks.
guess that's true.
Actually, they might have some play in this list.
Like if you bring min squads, this nice dirt cheap min squads.
Yeah.
They're objective grabbers. Yeah, you know what? I take it back.
And then you know
they're
what?
cheap
Hold on.
objective grabbers and synapse.
And then if you kill them for 2 command points, I don't want to bring 2 command points to bring them back, but they can show up on a side where you lost your synapse
if
or
that's
whatever.
your only choice, right?
Oh no, they have to relay it. They don't add it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. When I look at the enhancements, besides the naturalized camouflage, which seems kind of useless, the other 3 benefit anything except endless swarms or endless multitudes. And so I feel like the thing I like about this is it's like bring your endless multitudes for sure. Maybe half of your list is that, and the other half can then take advantage of these really cool things like this one, Tyranid model only. The unit piles in and consolidates 6 inches instead of 3 inches.
Just to be contrarian, why would you ever do that? Why would you not just play Invasion Fleet instead then?
Because the Endless Swarm stuff is cool.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that the Tyranid player actually seeing more ways than the way I want to play this one. That's a good thing.
I like variety. So I already see 3 different ways I'd want to play this right away. A Termagant spam, a Hormagant spam, and a Gargoyle spam.
For me, both. Well,
and then the mixture. Because when I think back to 5th and 6th edition, when I didn't have, like, half the data slates in here didn't exist, my army was typically, Hormagants out front with Gene Stealers behind them, or was it Termagants out front with Hormagants behind them? And the reason I did that is because that to me was the order. Gene Stealers were the best, Hormagants were next, Termagants were the lowest. And so whichever ones were the lower in the totem pole were out front. Because in the earlier editions, you get cover from shooting through units. And so when I'd go forward, it'd be like, pick your poison.
Yeah.
Do you want the Hormagants to get to you and kill you?
Yeah.
Or do you want the Gene Stealers to get to you and kill you?
To me, that was very Tyranid.
Exactly. And so when I look at this, I see the same thing. It's like there's a variety of things. I can still put Gene Stealers in this. They're not endless multitude.
There is one more upgrade that actually I can see being useful for my style and maybe even your style. It's the Adrenalized Onslaught. So you put on a Shrike, but any Tyranid's model, and then the unit, when they pile in or consolidate, add additional 3. I see that with Tyranid Prime with wings. And gargoyles to engage, pile in, and try to literally kill your unit. Engage as many things as you can, and anything that's still alive, they're going to fall back. They're going to have to do all these kind of things. Just one turn of disruption. You take as much as you can. Maybe you steal an objective, and then they're going to kill that unit. They have to because it's in their lines, and then it comes back. Yeah. So I would want one unit of. Gargoyles with a Tyranid Prime with wings with this upgrade.
I look at that and I think, man, a Broodlord and Gene Stealers with that? Ooh, boy. Because you got your swarms of Hormagants in front of them. It's like, do you fire at those who come back? Or do you fire at the Broodlord and the Gene Stealers who are behind them? Or maybe in front of them because they scout.
So no matter what your opponent does, they have to deal with that unit. And they're going to deal with it. So once they deal with it, I want to be able to bring it back. Gargoyles.
I want to
attack their morale the whole time.
Do I kill the thing that's harder to kill but won't come back, or do I kill the thing?
Wargamers are accustomed to stress. I want to go for their moral. Their morale. I want to break their morale.
Either way, and obviously, just between the two of us talking.
I love that we can argue about this, though. That's a good thing.
Oh no, but it's okay. Yes, we're arguing, but it's not so much that I disagree with you. It's more that I'm glad that we can play your way, and I have other ways. Because what you said, I'll do. I'll play that one game where I bring like a couple hundred gaunts, and then I'll never do it again because boy, will that be a pain to move around the table, especially with tables I make.
Movement trays. Oh yeah,
no, not the tables I make, because they're gorgeous looking tables, which means there's all sorts of terrain. And so I'll do that once because I remember my red collection of Tyranids has 200 Termagants because there was one time I wanted to play with 200 Termagants, and then I never did it again.
One time, guys.
Seriously, one time. So this time I'm not going to build up to that yet.
So this is my new favorite of all the detachments, even though I have to play the rest of them.
It's the only one that you've played so far, so how do you know?
But I've played against another one of them, which I thought was going to be my favorite.
Well, let's talk about that one next then.
Okay.
Vanguard Onslaught. I'm skipping the Assimilation Swarm. We'll come back to that. Vanguard Onslaught, we played that today. You're going to see that today on Steve's channel. Right? Yeah, Steve's channel.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
For free. Whereas the Crusher Stampede, you're going to see in the Vault or the YouTube membership of both of ours.
Remember, links below for that channel.
Yeah, that's Necrons versus Tyranids. Fantastic game. I'm only going to say one spoiler. There was 3 models left on the table at the end.
Which one?
The Crusher Stampede one, the Necrons versus Tyranids. 3 models left on the table.
Oh.
Total, between the two armies.
Who won?
I'm not... What do you mean?
I thought I'd break it.
No. I'm not going to say it. All I can say is stupidly fantastic game. And if you're in turn 3 and you think you know who's going to win, you're probably wrong. So it's like a watch to the... It was a 5-turn game that the winner won in their 5th turn on the second part of the 5th turn is when they won.
And that was a Crusher Stampede one?
The Crusher Stampede versus Necrons. And then Necrons, it was awesome. And both sides got to do stupid cool things. It was awesome. Anyways, let's go to Vanguard. Vanguard Onslaught, which the game is today. You can go check it out. I actually played like almost pure. I had Hormagaunts in there, which are not technically Vanguard, but they can advance and charge. And I had one Ripper Swarm because I had 15 points left over. And now Ripper Swarms are 1 to 3 models, which we'll talk about more in the Assimilation Swarm. So the Vanguard Onslaught has 2 rules, one of which I don't get. Well, except for 500-point games. The first one is that, well, I guess this is technically 2 rules for the first one. All Tyranid units, not just Vanguard, can fall back and charge. Cool.
Awesome.
Vanguard Invader units, which is, like I said, Gene Stealers, Lictors, things with wings, including the Flying Hive Tyrant, can also advance and charge, which is
really good.
Super scary.
Really good.
Remember, Gene Stealers already scout move 8 inches.
Yeah.
After they know who goes first, as we found out. And so that means they're moving up 8 inches, and then they move 8 inches, and then they advance, and they can charge. Oh, it's so awesome. I love it. And the other rule that comes in here, and I'm at a loss to figure out why this is even here, the Vanguard Prime, the Death Leaper is able to be your Warlord. The Death Leaper has a rule that even though he's a character, he's not allowed to be the Warlord. This says he can be. But he's still an epic hero, which means he can't take any enhancements, and you're not going to want
It just means he can be the only one character.
That's the only reason you care about him being your Warlord.
Yeah.
But when are you going to play even a...
Because the Flying Hive Tyrant gains the there's a keyword, right?
He's got Vanguard Invader.
Oh, no, it's right. He has Vanguard Invader. It's right.
But even he did, like the Broodlord does. The
Broodlord does.
Yeah, the Tyranid Shrike. He's got wings. He's got Vanguard. Which means,
yeah, you're right.
Fun fact, when I already said this once, I'll say it again. When that Tyranid Prime with wings, whatever he's called, winged Tyranid Prime, when he joins the unit, they become Vanguard as well because they inherit his keywords, and they can fly. They can fly, Steve.
That's not intentional, everybody.
They can fly, Steve.
It
has the fly keyword, and it gives it to them, so they can fly.
Fly's useless anyway, so at
a 6-inch unit, it is. Although I did use it, I leapt up
for just to annoy me.
Just to annoy him. He didn't need to go up a level, but he did, and it looked
after my
cool.
Morale.
Yeah. I've got a bunch of Shrikes, which is Tyranid warriors with wings, in my red scheme. I think I'm going to repaint them so that whenever he joins them, I can represent why they're able to fly, even though it's like stunted wings. They're like a chicken flying.
He's gonna do it too. He's gonna spend resources to get this done. That's the worst part about it. So this is the detachment. It's all about fast moving and melee in a game that no longer wants melee.
Oh, but it was fun.
Oh yeah,
it was fun.
I'm not. No.
This is not going to be the tournament one. Well,
you never know.
Somebody's going to do. No, you know what? I take that back. Because I don't think about bringing more than one Hive Tyrant in the game.
I will never say this on the tournament one because I can see some this high tier player going like, yeah, I'm going to play this.
With 3 Lictors, 3 Neurolictors, Death Leaper, 3 Flying Hive Tyrants.
No, it'll be something weird like Gene Stealers and a couple of Lictors and then a bunch of gun stuff.
Right, just so that they can access a couple things.
Yeah, I'm not trying to figure out the one thing they're going to go after. Yeah.
If you're like me, you like melee. You like close combat. That's the
Too many of the audiences like you. I disagree with you guys, but yeah, I get it.
No, close combat's where it's at. People with guns are just cowards. All right. I might not be a chaos player, but I understand Dave's love of corn.
Okay, I need to take a minute.
Cowards.
From you.
In fact, in our game today, your warlord was a coward.
Look at
still got him, but he was a coward.
38,000 years in the future, I'm gonna hit you with my gun and not my sharp stick.
Yeah, no, I don't have sharp sticks. I've got
melee is
adamantine something or other, plasteel talons.
If I want to do a melee game, I'm gonna play like Warhammer Fantasy or Sigmar or something, and then bring my guns in that game still. But
yeah, you play elves with your bows.
Look at it.
Yeah, no. Guns. Anyways, so Vanguard Onslaught
evolved to turn our hands into guns. With these Tyranids.
No, it's an awkward angle to hold a gun. It's all about swords. See, look at that. See how a two-handed sword just fits perfectly
you all have
right
fun
here?
Correctly.
Look at that. Perfect. Gun is like, what's this? Like, look at my hand. You're going to get like carpal tunnel right here from holding your gun and shooting it. Sword.
Okay.
Perfect. Like, it's just ergonomic.
I'm going to talk to our editor right now. Hey, Micah, at this point, I want you to splice in the part where Matthew and I go in the parking lot. I'll give him a Nerf bat. I'll take a Nerf gun. And we'll figure out which one works.
You watch. Haven't you seen Star Wars? Like, okay, enough said. Not the new ones, of course. They don't count. Anyways, so Vanguard Onslaught is literally all about combat. That's not true. There's a couple strategies.
We don't have laser swords and lasers. We have projectile bullets and swords.
Yeah, well, apparently in a galaxy far, far away, they couldn't figure that out. So anyways,
What were we talking about?
we're talking about Vanguard Onslaught. It mostly favors close combat, but it definitely has some really cool shooting things. And it definitely just, because Vanguard's not all about close combat, actually. As much as I keep saying I want melee, you can totally play Vanguard. In fact, I think it'll actually be more powerful as a shooting list rather than as a...
Why do you say that?
Because I picture, for example, swarms of gargoyles with the prime, going around with sustained hits, targeting somebody, making them take battle shock, getting +1 to hit and +1 to wound.
Okay.
I picture the Tyranid Prime, winged Tyranid Prime, joining a unit of Tyranid warriors, giving them the Vanguard, forget the fly thing, but they're ones with ranged weapons, and all of a sudden being able to do something similar. I picture even a flying hive tyrant, giving him a big cannon rather than his guns. I don't think that's his thing. I don't think that's the best use of a flying hive tyrant, but I think you'll find use there. I can picture the...
No, I think within the current, to drop you, the current data slate tells you to put a gun on your flying hive tyrant.
You don't have to.
No. But if you look at his stats, you kind of have to.
No, you don't at all.
His feet are...
The scything talons are extra attacks, remember?
Oh, right. The scything talons are extra attacks. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you do the math, because I just did it...
So mine's a symbol with a bone sword?
I literally... Yeah, you don't want to... Bone sword there's still actually an argument for bone sword, but that's fine. Because I was looking at the stats literally the other day when I gave it to the person to paint, and I said, maybe it only magnetize the 3 options. And then I looked at it, I'm like, no.
What's the reason to take a bone sword? I know to detract, but we're here for Tyranids.
Okay,
why bone sword?
So if we take a little sidetrack and we looked at the winged hive tyrant, so basically, the regular hive tyrant, you're never going to give it scything talons. It never makes sense to. You give it bone sword and lash whip and a gun.
Yeah.
If you want to, you can give it scything talons and make it a close combat beast, but you'll never... Like, the fact that they give you an option to replace the bone sword with a gun is stupid. Because, essentially, he comes by stock with bone sword, lash whip on top, 2 scything talons at the bottom. And you can replace either of those with a big gun, but not both of them. But, like, the lash whip bone sword is better in every way. It's higher strength, higher AP, higher damage. The scything talons are extra attacks, so you'd keep them if you want to make your hive tyrant really close combat. So it's really weird that they still give you the option to replace you just never want to get rid of that. The flying hive tyrant, on the other hand, only has one option, because his wings lock him into his winged attacks, which are the same as scything talons, but just with more attacks.
With his feet, but yeah.
Yeah, it's his feet. It's supposed to be his wings, whatever. But anyways, yeah, it's his feet, which basically are scything talons. And so if you can look at it, it feels bad to give him a bone sword because then you can't use his feet.
Right. Which are good stats, not terrible stats.
But if you so like I'll show you. I'll show you right here. It's
bone sword is better stats,
but forget that for a second. So stop thinking of it as he's got these 5 scything talon attacks. Do I give him 4 more, or do I scratch them out and give him 6 of these? If you look at it, instead of that, you look at it saying, am I going to give him 9 scything talon attacks, which are strength 7 minus 2/2, or am I going to give him 6 twin-linked bone sword attacks, which are strength 9 minus 1 minus 2/3. So just do the math. 9 attacks, 2 damage is 18 wounds. 6 attacks, 3 damage is 18 wounds, except this one's a higher strength and twin-linked.
Yeah, he has the speed to get where he needs to be. I'd rather take those 9 attacks and
why?
And a gun. Because you also get a gun.
No, you don't get 9 attacks in a gun.
Oh, sorry, 5 attacks in a gun, or not. I would take 5 attacks in a gun.
So that's the real argument there. It's not so much between...
You know what? We're pointing at things you're not following us. Okay, there's 3 weapons here. The feet are there all the time.
And you can choose
between... And then you have 2 more hands to have either a good gun or a weapon that is adding extra attacks that are identical to the feet, or a weapon that used instead of the feet that's a little bit better. So for me, that option...
Not a little bit better, a lot better.
A little bit higher strength than twin linked is not.
And damage 3.
Damage 3 against certain targets, but they don't carry over. So I have Sigmar. But you're right. Like I'm not saying like I would rather. I'm upset that mine has a bone sword, not a gun.
See, I wouldn't be because instead of a gun, yes, sure. But still, I'm thinking winged hive tyrants for me are more about being close combat. You put them in a Vanguard and they can move 12 inches advance and charge. They've got a psychic power, paroxysm, that at the start of the fight phase, select an enemy within 12. And then on a 2+, they get -1 attacks.
Yeah.
To their attack. It doesn't say minimum 1, by the way. I don't know if there's a main rulebook thing that says minimum 1 for these types of characteristics.
I would
probably.
I would say yes.
But either way, -1 attacks is brutal.
I just know that I'm a little more cagey than you, I guess. But if I have a gun on my wing hive tyrant, he's going to shoot 5. As long as he's alive for 5 turns, he's going to shoot 5 turns and get in a melee.
No. I agree with that because I look at the Carnifex, for example, and I think hands down the best loadout is Crushing Claws and a gun.
Because you're going to shoot.
You can argue between whether it's the Venom Cannon or the Stranglethorn because they both have their.
Yep.
But the thing is, like, because you're trading out a couple of extra attacks from the Scythe and Talons for being able to shoot every round. Because, especially if there's a regular Hive Tyrant nearby that gives his weapons assault, so then he's always able to shoot them as he advances up the table. So I get what you're saying. I'm just looking at, and I'm not, that's like I said, I'm not looking at min-max stuff, which I'm not saying that you are necessarily, although I guess in a sense you are. But it's more like...
I definitely am.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. It's more like the theme that I'm looking at. Like, if I want the Winged Hive Tyrant to be as killy as possible in close combat, I would argue that the Silent Talent, or the Bone Sword is way better, even though it's a feel bad because you're looking at those other attacks just sitting there with a big sad face that they don't get to do anything.
Well, okay.
Which I think is dumb. I think they should have made those extra attacks and just like dropped him down to 3 attacks.
His feet should have been... Yeah,
that's what they should have been. The feet should have been extra attacks.
And then I wouldn't feel bad about my Bone Sword option.
Exactly.
Okay, so back to the Vanguard Onslaught. Is there anything here with the stratagems that's going to help out that Hive Tyrant?
Oh, there's so much good stuff. So first off, if we look at the enhancements, you can give him Chameleonic, which is he's got stealth and he's always in cover. Like a freaking Hive Tyrant with stealth and always in cover. Or
actually, that's pretty good, actually.
Or you can give him Stalker. You can turn him into a Lictor Winged Hive Tyrant. At the beginning of the game, he selects an enemy unit and he gets +1 to hit and wound. Now he already hits on 2s.
Wait, is it melee only or even his gun?
No, it's just that target. Yeah, right? All of a sudden, a flying Hive Tyrant with that big, heavy Venom Cannon.
Not like that.
+1 to wound. That's gonna be awesome. Or the other ones are really, they don't matter who they're on, so it doesn't matter about those. There's 2 other cool enhancements, but you wouldn't put them on a big beefy guy. You just put them on like whatever. One of them is when your opponent sets up reserves on a 2+, they have to do a battle shock. I love that. That would have been really good in the game today. Or the one that I did take, Neuro Node, which is after the game starts and after you know who's going first, you can redeploy 3 of your Vanguard Invader units. So you can place your Lictors right in front of everybody and be like, okay, am I going first? No? All right, I'm going to go over there.
Yeah.
And you can put them in reserve,
one's good.
too.
That's really good. But the whole like battle shock thing, for me, for the way that I play a lot of my armies, I know a lot of people like this as well. You bring on your reserve unit to deep strike, and then there's always a stratagem you're going to use to do their thing. But the whole battle shock in that moment is a rough one. But was it Neuro Node? Is that the one?
Yeah, where you can redeploy.
That's just going to be like an auto include.
You have to.
You have to use that.
You have to.
You deploy as far front as you can, and then you're not going first. I'm going to go hide behind this piece of terrain.
Yeah.
I am going first. Hello.
Yeah, exactly. And then all of the stratagems are fun. I love them all. You want to really annoy your opponent? You do Unseen Lurkers, which is when they target something, you say, hey, are you more than 12 inches away? You can't see me. Oh, are you more than 6 inches away, but I'm a lone operative? In other words, a Lictor, Death Leaper, that kind of stuff? You can't see me. 6 inches. Now, that's all it takes.
Hold on. Compare that, add that with the other stratagem, which you kept doing to me, where you moved.
Oh, I only did that once. Hypersensory Cilia. It's 2 command points.
But this mattered. It came up in our game.
Yeah. So 2 command points. It's hefty. That lets you take 2 Vanguard Invaders. When your opponent moves, you can pick up to 2 Vanguard Invader units and move them 6 inches. So you get them out of range. Or you jump on an objective.
So I've had, early in our game, I've had the Death Leaper like really close to my guys, and I couldn't shoot at him because Matthew's moving him just outside of 6 after I'm moving and stuff like that.
It was, and I'm not even giving away who won because I'm just telling you this cool thing that the Death Leaper did. That he was
a shadow.
Awesome.
He was a shadow in my lines.
Right in your lines too. He was right here, and you couldn't see him. And I loved it because he'd be like, "No, where am I? Where am I going?
No, over here now.
No, over here. Oh, are you below full strength? Well, the Death Leaper makes you take a battle shock test at -1.
We're playing a mini game in my movement phase. I'll move this. You're gonna move anything? You're not gonna move. I'll move this. I'm not gonna do anything.
And you move this.
I'm not gonna move anymore. He's like, that's good. I'm like, oh, maybe I will move.
Yeah, because you're trying to Overwatch. You're trying to all this crap.
Yeah.
And it's great. And so that was, I loved that.
It takes big brain though.
It wasn't that hard. It was move more than 6 inches away from the thing that could one-shot him. The end.
Yeah, but it's waiting to move, right? Because they could have got close to but
Yeah. So the one that I think I used the most, or at least liked the most, was Surprise Assault, which is a 1 command point stratagem that when you're about to shoot or about to fight, that unit chooses an enemy unit. They don't have to be able to see it. It doesn't say that, but of course you're usually going to choose one. And they have to take a battle shock test, and you get +1 to hit them. And if they failed the battle shock test, you get +1 to wound them. Get that Death Leaper next to them. He's got a -1 leadership debuff, and oh boy, I got to say, it's awesome. Now, like things like Gene Slayers already have like a 2 up to hit. So it's the +1 to wound you're really going for. But half the time it's just battle shock them so they can't stratagem their way out of stuff. There was a point in the game where almost all of Steve's army was battle shocked. And I loved it.
My favorite stratagem that I can't use when I'm battle shocked is Profane Zeal.
Yeah, reroll hits and wounds, right?
I think I said like 30 times in that game, I love to use Profane Zeal right now, but he did that thing to me again.
Yeah, and then you're like, I'm gonna Overwatch. I'm like, no, you're not, because you're battle shocked. Never have you heard that word so many times. No, you're not, because you're battle shocked. I guess there's more than one word. Assassin's Beast. So here's a super scary one. Imagine a Broodlord and a Gene Slayers come charging a unit of yours. Normally the Broodlord could do an epic challenge, or whatever it's called, and just get precision and go after your character, right? Mm-hmm. Well, now for 1 command point, the entire frickin' unit gets precision. And that was glorious. Just being able to jump in and being like, literally, they just knock over everybody and they turn and they're like, what were they doing? And they look back and they see like their sergeant or the leader that joined them just like splayed across the battlefield.
So,
and they're like, oh, golly, what just happened?
This is not going to have that much of a problem with killing characters anyway, but there are units that are going to, for example, one of the big egregious ones are like a unit of 10 Wraith Guard that are just doing a ton of mortal wounds, or they're super hard to kill. But the character joining them is super squishy.
But you don't care because there's 10 guys to get through.
You have
first,
to contain
right?
those 10 guys.
Yeah.
So anytime you can, precision I find is never where I need it, but this is where you can put.
Well, this one is any infantry, any Vanguard Invader infantry. So you get a unit of gargoyles in there, and they could, when they go to, sorry, it's only in the fight phase, but they could get precision for goodness sakes. Like, I don't know if you do that with there, but if you're desperate enough, you could do that. Like,
oh, well, you kill that Spirit Seer, that squad's not coming back every turn, not guaranteeing 6s. And
I'm trying to think who else would be a Vanguard Invader infantry specifically. So you couldn't do it in the Hive Tyrant.
Wait, the Gargoyles are infantry?
They are, but I don't think you'd care to do that in the fight phase with them. Gene Stealers is like a yes. Lictors, and the Lictor types, they already have precision.
And I'm assuming this is the only way for Gene Stealers to get precision.
Yes.
Who are most likely to do it, with especially in this attachment, because they're scouting, running 6 and charging.
Devastating wounds with the Broodlord.
Yeah.
It could also work with the Shrike with the Warriors, too, because they're pretty choppy in close combat.
Well, weirdly enough, the Devastating Wounds will probably not get that character. They're going to spill over to the unit, because the Sages will probably kill that character first.
Well, that works fine for me, too.
Exactly.
Either way, you kill the character, because I don't think the Mortal Wounds go on the character anyways, even with precision.
Because it would be after. I don't think it would matter.
I think the FAQ addresses that, saying that Mortal Wounds and other things like that don't go on the character, unless he's the only thing left, of course. Our cool one is Seated Broods. I wanted to use this one, but I didn't end up using it in their game. Is that it's either 1 Tyranid unit or 2 Vanguard Invader. I like that, by the way, because you can still use it on your regular guys. They get to treat the battle round as one later for the purpose of reserves. So, for example, they could come in turn 1, unless this gets FAQ'd. If it's turn 1, you treat. No,
there would be no reason to expect an FAQ on this.
Yeah, because it should have been obvious that would happen when they wrote the rules for it, right? But.
Do you have any Deep Strikers, Molochs and stuff?
Yeah, but they're not Vanguard. The
1 Tyranid unit from your army, or 2 Vanguard units.
Oh, that's true. You could do it with the one.
One Moloch can pop up right away.
Turn 1.
Yeah.
Right in your back.
What's your think of the? I know we're min-maxing this for a second here. What's your biggest Alpha Strike threat you can think of that come on turn 1?
Like that comes in from reserve?
Yeah. But not like a strategic reserve. It has to be like a good draw. Oh, the Tyrannocyte.
Yeah, because I don't think they come in first turn automatically. I never actually read the rules for the Tyrannocyte because I don't have one yet.
Can they hold a couple of
It starts in reserves. It doesn't count towards reserves, and it can come in first turn.
Oh, it can come in first turn.
Regardless of any mission. So they're drop pods. And you have to disembark.
Do you have a big scary gun unit that can deep strike? Not really. It's not really a
but you can stick anything inside of them. And Tyrannocytes are Vanguard Invaders.
That makes sense.
So you can have 2. Well, they already can come in first turn.
Okay, so this is not going to.
But they can.
Well, they can come in first turn, and then something else can.
I don't know. They can carry. It looks like the same. 20 infantry or 1 monster with a wounds characteristic of 12 or less. Oh, Tyranid have less than 12 wounds. So you can put a Tyranid instead of a Tyranid.
No, not again, Games Workshop. I'm doing it.
Each infantry with wounds characters more than one takes up space of 3 models. So basically, it's like 10 genes. Oh, that's annoying. You can't put 10 gene stealers and a broodlord in there. Awesome. Boo. I don't like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun with Tyranid eventually. I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 of them in my army, because you can have up to 6, right? Because they're dedicated transports. But yeah, no, they're Vanguard. I'm not sure what I care about them being Vanguard.
It's probably a good thing that this crazy Alpha Strike combo doesn't exist.
No, I think that the closest thing you'd have to that would be a Flying Hive Tyrant. I think can be in Deep Strike. Can a Flying Hive Tyrant be in Deep Strike? They used to be able to. Winged Hive Tyrant. No, yeah, Deep Strike. So you could put one of them in Deep Strike and have them turn 1.
But that, without a mass amount of guns, it's too big of a risk.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the thing that can, like, what if you a squad of 4 Obliterators could Deep Strike turn 1?
Yeah, that would be scary.
Yeah. You don't have that in this book. There's nothing like that.
I don't think so.
Nothing. A squad
Raveners
with just
Raveners could Deep Strike, but they'd be relying on making a charge, and they're not Vanguard.
Three Pyrovores.
They don't Deep Strike.
But they could. No, they couldn't. Yeah.
They could strategic reserve first turn, but not on your opponent's deployment zone. But it could also work well for a turn 2 thing, right? Because you can strategic reserve on turn 2 and count as turn 3, which means you can come in your opponent's side. I think that's probably more likely what it's going to happen.
What is the word? Oh, it's a stratagem. Never mind.
Yeah, I think that'll be more likely what you see people use it as. Either way, cool.
All right, you played one game. What's your thoughts on this one?
I loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see definite changes I'd make to the list and things I'd try. But I loved it. It was great. And I think in the list I brought a Death Leaper, I brought Lictors, I brought Neurolictors, I brought Gene Stealers, and I have to say that everything that I brought on that I had a specific hope for, they achieved that.
Good.
The Death Leaper was awesome. The Neurolictors, pointing at guys and being like, take Battle Shock, please, and then a Death Leaper is usually near them to give -1. The Broodlord and the Gene Stealers having stealth and always in cover, that didn't matter too much, but being able to scout 8 inches and then advance and charge, they were in combat first turn, and they were awesome. They of course, I'll tell you, they died, because that's what they do.
That's what they do.
That doesn't even give away.
They charge and die.
I've played plenty of games where they die, and I still win.
It's Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah.
When things charge, they charge and die.
Yeah. Very rarely do they charge and not die. It's a question of did they kill enough before they died. So, no, I loved it. I loved it a lot. I like it a lot. Okay. That's as far as we're going to go in part 1. As you can see, the light has burnt out at some point. I don't know if that happened in the second part or the first part.
It was all on in your video.
It's magic of editing that I have no idea.
Wait, no, is that? What was that one?
Is that one? Thank you. Yeah, it's just not mirrored, so it's throwing you off. Anyways, so part 2, where we're going to talk about the rest of the detachments and also the new stuff, is going to be on Steve's channel at Mountain something or other.
That's accurate. You know what? You don't need to know the name. It links in the description below.
Yeah, Mountain Miniatures at something. Mountain Miniatures. That'll be in the description. There's links for everything. Remember, we have 4 battle reports up today, 2 for free, 1 on his channel, 1 on mine, and then 2 in our paid areas. So his and mine in our paid area, and mine and his in his paid area.
So you Vault members right now, there's 2 more videos for you right now in the MiniWarGaming Vault.
Yeah. All the links will be below, so go check that out. And we'll see you in the next video. Happy wargaming.